sharp blades. So why do we need them? For this. And this. For this. And for this. For every sharpenista out there who wants to know exactly how sharp their edges are. For the ultimate tool to test the sharpness of your blades, this is the Edge On Up Sharp PT50A Industrial Edge Sharpness Tester. Check it out. What's up there, sword and knife friends? This is an edition of Toolbox on my channel that I'll be sharing some tools that I use to make up the reviews of the swords that I display in this channel, and also as a collector, things that I use to measure and whatnot. So first item that I wanted to be showing you guys on this channel is something extremely interesting. To anyone who is into sharpening their blades, trying to get the best possible sharpness they can out of each blade, and for those who are struggling to kind of test the blades out after sharpening to see if they did the right job, if there's even sharpening around the entire blade and all that. So basically, all those sharpenistas out there, I think this is definitely going to be the item for you. It's made by Sharp. The company that distributes is Edge On Up. This particular model is the PT50A Industrial model. It's an edge sharpness tester. Now, I went with the PT50A as a industrial as opposed to the professional model, only because the way this thing works is it measures grams of pressure, and the professional model actually only measures up to per 5 grams of pressure. So if you did a sharpening and let's say you had a number of 300 and you did some more sharpening to it, it won't tell you the sharpness level is, let's just say 298 or 297, it'll say 295. So you don't know how the increments, how they work. So the industrial model actually does it by per gram of pressure as opposed to every 5 grams of pressure. So if you're really into sharpening and you really want to get the most accurate reading you can, the per gram per pressure is a lot more reliable and a lot more accurate if you're basically doing some sharpening on your knives or swords. So that's why I would recommend the industrial model. So this is the box as it was received. I honestly never opened it yet. I've had it for about a week, and I was waiting to get this video done. Haven't had some time. So I'm going to open this box up first and show you what it's all about. It comes into a nice, neat box like this. And it says, congratulations, you just turned on the light on your sharpening room. So, woohoo. So that's there, little foam, little bubble wrap to keep it secure. Nice secure box, everything's nice and neat. In here you have individual threads. I'm assuming what they are. You have individual threads that basically you can, these are for quick sharpening methods, but this is not the most accurate way of sharpening. So put this on the side for now with this unit anyway. You have your paperwork, registration, whatnot. This is actually pretty important, which I think I'm going to post it on the screen as well. This is actually the way you use this item or this device to show the sharpness level of your blades. So as I have this on the screen, you notice that at 2000, which is the highest measurement, it's an unsharpened or blank blade. Now, as you go down, it gives you little recommendations, like anywhere from 1900 to 1600 is an edge broken or torn from blade. Then you have 1500, 1400, they say it's like a bent blade. You don't want to be in the 1000 range. In the 1000 range, you have a blunt blade. That's what it comes down to. So if you ever put a knife or sword on there and you're in the 1000 range, you definitely got a lot of work to do to get this thing sharp, and you'll feel that it's not sharp before you even test it. Then you go down, you got severely rolled edges, and then you go down to 800 to 400, starts getting a little sharper, but it's moderately rolled. Where you want to be is in the 400 to 100 range is where you have a sharp edge. Now, what I try to measure from is the 200 and below is utility razor blade. Okay, anywhere from 0 to 100 is a double-edged razor blade. So that's the sharpest possible level that you can be in, according to this device. So now, when you get a stock knife, a cold steel knife, or a sword, or anything like that, or a katana, you're probably going to be in the 300, 200 range. If you want to get it sharper from that, the number has to go down in order to get to the sharpness level you want. So this is definitely the very important card that you want to hold on to, and this is going to be your guide as far as how you use the device. Okay, so here you have the device underneath here. Before we even open that up, you got this little guy here. It's really wrapped up tight. All right, so this is the fulcrum. This is the most accurate device measurement tool you can use with this device. And it has like a little line, little string basically attached to it right in between where you would make a cut, a sample cut. I think you could see it in the camera now. A sample cut where you can actually, it'll measure the grams of pressure that it took to cut the string in between the fulcrum here. So we'll get to that in a sec. With the industrial model, they give you two balancing tools depending on, and you can place it wherever you want to see how you want to balance the knife or sword onto there. And again, they're all magnetic. So styrofoam, not good for the planet. Keeps it secure though. Bubble wrap, more bubble wrap on the bottom. All right, let's get rid of this box. All right, so this is the device. Battery powered, nice, sleek looking. I think it actually has batteries included there already, which is good. Little Warrior batteries. It takes 2 AAA batteries. That again, are nice that are included. This is the on button right here. You notice it's 0 grams of pressure right now. And as you move it around, it's going to move around a little bit, but you're going to reset it before you start. You simply just take the fulcrum here, place it right on the unit. You notice how it actually measured some grams of pressure there once I put it in. You want to just reset it before you start up, and then it's basically ready to use. This is the magnet. They're all magnetic. You want to keep this kind of centered right here. So when you use a knife, you kind of making the cut right here. Now, if you want to, you could keep this here to balance the knife on it and kind of bring in the cut to cut the string here. All right, you notice any type of pressure you put on this, you need to reset it before you actually do the measurement and bring it to 0, and then you're ready to put the knife on it. It'll do the pressure adjustment, and then you're all set to go, and then you read out exactly what it is here. You also have a light here, lights it up, gives you more illumination. I won't put it on all the time, probably kill the battery. All right, so basically what I'm going to do here with the beauty and the power of video, I'm going to play with this a little bit. And again, I haven't had any experience with it yet. I'm going to try to do some tests, see what kind of measurements I get. And this is going to be probably a 3-part video because I'm going to measure. I have one particular cold steel knife that I'm going to be testing the sharpness level of it because I wasn't really happy with how it came out of the box, and I haven't done any sharpening on it whatsoever for the most part. So I want to basically bring that edge to a higher level sharpness. So I'm going to test it before then, and then I'm going to test it after I do the sharpness to see what kind of increments it went up, to see what kind of job I did with the sharpening method, and let's see how this what kind of value this item has. But from what I've seen, and I'm sure you've probably seen this on YouTube before, you've seen this item before if you don't have it already, I think it's definitely a great tool. Like I said, for the people who are into sharpening methods and keeping their blade sharp. to be able to have something, some kind of a reference to go for, with the grams per pressure to see if they're doing the right job or if they're increasing the sharpness levels of their edges. But you could also go to different parts of the blade, especially if you have a sword, if you want to test the upper 2/3 to the lower to the tip, and to see if the sharpness level is the same throughout the entire edge. So I'm going to pause with this. I'm going to come back to you with the second part of the video. All right, so we have here a cold steel AD10 knife right here. Basically, how the blade, it's a great knife. It wasn't as sharp as I wanted it to be. So let's see what the sharpness tester tells me it is without doing any proper sharpening. All right, so you have the guide right over here that you place it on, and you kind of just push it down. This is all set to 0. Put the light on so you can see it. So we're just going to kind of just do a sample cut. Actually, yeah, reset. All right. So we have a measurement of 373. Actually, this is the second one I did, and it's exactly the same measurement. So if we go to 373, it's actually that's between 300 and 400. So this, at that level, it's labeled as new high-end cold-3 edges, which is pretty accurate, pretty much what it is. But I want to get this thing down to like low 300s or maybe the 200 range to get it more razor-like or maybe more of a slicer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this knife. I'm going to use my normal sharpening method with a work sharp. I'm going to try to recontour the edge to make it sharper. Then I'm going to go back. I'm going to test the grams per pressure to see if it increased from the 373. And again, you want to bring it down. A low number is better. So at 373, I want to get this down to in the 300 to upper 200 range to get to the sharpness level that I want for this knife. So go back to the next part of the video. Again, beauty of editing. Be back to you with that. All right, guys, we're back. So took this thing to a workshop, used a extra coarse grind. I went for a kind of, very sharp, not razor sharp or hair popping sharp, but I definitely went with a sharper type of edge. I did some sample paper cuts. It definitely cuts paper a lot better. Remember, we measured this at 378 without any sharpening whatsoever. So I did some sharpening methods. Again, I'll confess, my sharpening is not the best. It's a learning process still for me. I'm sure people could sharpen a lot better than me, but let's see if I improve the sharpness level of the edge, testing the grams per pressure with this. So let's give it a shot. And you want to gently just put it on here. And I am at 240, which is a pretty damn sharp edge. So again, we started off at 378 and we went down to 240. So it actually gave me a really, really nice sharp edge. So what we have here is we started at 378 and we went down to 240 after sharpening. So I actually went down by 138 grams of pressure sharper after using the work sharp and bringing it to a sharper edge. Now, I didn't go for razor sharp. I did, the passes that were needed to bring it to a sharper edge, and I'm actually very satisfied at 240 with this knife. Definitely feel like it's sharper. Yeah, it's definitely razor paper shaving sharp. You can see it just takes little fine pieces of paper off. Just shreds it all up really well. So it's definitely a lot better. So let's try the BPS knife here. Again, everyone who knows BPS knows that these things come crazy sharp. So let's see how this works out. Very gently place it on here. Wow. This thing came in at 129. No effort in cutting this thing up. 129. So again, at 129, which is anywhere between 1 and 200, is utility razor blade. Okay, so we're at somewhere around utility razor blade. I don't think we could get much sharper than that on a knife. And that's just a testament to actually how freaking sharp these BPS knives come from right out of the box. So that's very, very impressive. But I got to tell you, the cold steel, the improvement I made on the cold steel, dropping it down to 138 grams of pressure, is a big improvement after sharpening. Very impressed at it actually got that sharp after, really honestly, 10 minutes sharpening it. Probably did more, but I didn't want to because there was no need for it. But it's, that's the beauty of this product, that you can test your sharpening methods and to get an actual gram per pressure estimate of how sharp your blade is compared to how it was prior and after sharpening. So it's a great device for that. I'm actually going to test out a sword to see how that works out. So I'm going to test out a katana that I did no sharpness to it whatsoever. This is a katana, a custom katana I got from Swords of Northshire. It came pretty sharp out of the box. I requested somewhere between no boost sharpness, like a rounded sharpness edge, and razor sharp. So it's not quite razor sharp, but it's still pretty damn sharp. So let's see how this works out. This is not a how-to video, but basically what you want to do with this fulcrum here, you want to unscrew this end here, unwind it, pull it through, wrap it around here while this is tight, and then tighten this up here so the string in the middle is nice and tight, and it'll give it a nice even cut where it's not going to pull the string down, it'll cut it right there. So it's got to be nice and tight in the middle before you tighten this thing up here. But I'm sure you can see a million videos online that shows you how to do that the correct way. We will move the balancing device right here a little bit more to the outer edge because it's a sword. And what we're going to do is try to test out the unsharpened edge stock upper 2/3 of the blade. You want to gently put it into the balancing wheel here. Reset this to 0 again. That light on. And let's see what kind of edge I have here. So I measured this up at 231, which is pretty damn sharp for a katana, right out of the box without any sharpening whatsoever. So 231 is between 200 and 300, which is at a little over 300 is new high-end cutlery edges, and between 100 and 200, it's utility razor blade. So 231 is definitely a very sharp edge for a katana. So actually pretty impressed that it actually came in at that sharpness. So that shows you the value of what this item is, that you can test the grams of pressure of the blade cutting through the string to see what sharpness level you're at. So guys, that's the conclusion of this video. This is Edge On Up, made from, that's the distributor of this Sharp Industrial PT50A. It's a sharpness tester, blade tester. This is pretty much what it comes with here. You have your fulcrum, you have your other way of using to test your sharpening with the individual cylinders here. But I recommend definitely the fulcrum is the most accurate way of doing it. I honestly, guys, I can't speak enough about this. For people who are into collecting knives or blades and want to test, have a really good way, technical way of testing the sharpness level of your blades, especially if you're into sharpening your blades and maintaining them. So if I wanted to, I can test out each edge of the katana from the closer to the baki or closer to Kasaki to see what the sharpness levels are around the entire blade. So it's definitely something you might want to consider and maybe pick up. I'm actually going to use this in all my future reviews as I get new katanas or knives. I'm going to incorporate this into all my reviews to give you an idea of the grams of pressure that tell you how sharp your blade is. It's definitely a great item. So that's all I have for you guys today. I'm going to put a link in the description to this item, sorry, so you can take a look at their website and take a look at the two models. Again, I recommend the industrial model because it gives you individual grams as opposed to every 5 grams of pressure, and it gives you more of a precise measurement. But the prices are pretty reasonable. Again, that's all I have for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got something out of it. And this is an edition of what's in my toolbox and what's in your toolbox, guys. So Why do you need sharp? That's why you need sharp, and you need this thing to test out to see if it is sharp. Thanks guys for watching. Have a great day, evening or night, depending on when you're watching this, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out, everybody.